Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus The Riven Realms. I've run back the entire Quathos questline. I did it, first of all, let me catch you up to speed. So I ran it back with the original team that we got to the end with last episode and then died with. Same thing, got to the very end and it was a war of attrition and I ran out of HP and died. I have since then come back and I've reconfigured the team a little bit. I dropped all of our mages. I brought Garrick and Kriefta with us, and I swapped all of the gear that I could for gear that boosted fire resistance, and I still it's still been kind of a bare knuckle brawl here, but we did manage to get to the very end. So I brought you back in just for the finishing blows here. Fine. That's the other thing that I hate, is these guys really like to trigger their I won't die ability, and then you have to hit them a couple more times. But we managed to make it this time, unless there's a third battle at the very end. Oh, we made it. Okay. At last, victory is yours. With a hard crash, the last of the bestial dwarves falls to the ground. It was as though you have been blessed by the gods themselves. A miracle, if you ever saw one. Pay no attention to the other 2 times I attempted to beat this questline. The curtain wall beckons. You remember the scalding current it bore, and stopping only for a moment, you hear its howl die down. Now is the time, you tell your companions, rushing with renewed vigor. More of the tainted ones give chase, yet when you pass the wall, they slink back, impudent snarls and howls following your retreat. They echo throughout the city now, Quathos' chorus, an ode to fiery death and madness. Once you disappear beyond the curtain, or behind cover beyond the main avenue past the city gate, the howling wind picks up again. Disgruntled cries follow. A stolen glance back shows the creatures scampering away, although you cannot say why. Are they bound to the inner city, or does something or someone inhibit their pursuit? Relieved, you check back on your companions and they check on you. They are shaken to the very core, yet alive at least. You retread your steps through the maze of streets, alleyways, and lanes, finding the comitatus at the end of it all, like a beacon of hope. Your crew is a sight for sore eyes, as are the amenities they bring for when bidden, most of all clean water and good food. Your companions are quiet, and you realize that you too lack the will to formulate words, certainly not ones to describe your ordeal. Instead, you merely ask the crew to prepare to spend the night here, and then you retreat to your tent. Now you know, Barandar fell to the many trials Quathos brought to bear, but perhaps that shall be enough for Carandar's people. After all, it was what they expected. Now you must return to them. The path is long and hard, although truly it is nothing compared to what you just have endured today. Exactly. Like, we could do anything after this and I would be totally fine. Alright, let's go ahead and camp. Looks like all of our stats are pretty okay. We'll use medical supplies. Hopefully our people heal up pretty good. Not too bad. I don't think we need to push our luck and go exploring Quathos. I think what I would like to do is just bail. Maybe we come back here in the future and try to raid for treasure or something. Let's boost our vigor. What I do want to do, that's what I wanted to see for healing. What I do want to do is I want to try and pop into these, what on earth just happened? I wanted to try and pop into the Sadirar villages and see if anybody wanted to come with me to help the water people. Alright, at the front of the column, the position you occupy is immediately put at risk. As the ground begins to shake violently, fissures crack and cleave the volcanic rock beneath you, causing it to fracture and open into a deep crevice. Knocked out of whatever state of reverie or deep introspection that you normally occupy while traveling, you dole out orders forthwith, commanding your co-mates to evade the destruction if they are able. We succeeded in our role. Oh, we had such good stats, it was never gonna happen. Miraculously, all present evade the worst of the earthquake, avoiding the gaping crevice and securing the cargo to the best of their abilities. Soon, however, the realization is that just as the beginnings begin to take hold, the shaking becomes intense beyond your wildest presuppositions. Fissures widen to become chasms, scalding clouds of steam burst forth, instantly searing and subsequently snuffing out the lives of many crew. Oh no! The chaos escalates beyond whatever anyone had imagined. At the center of it all, having successfully spirited yourself away despite it all, you continue to shout orders, seeking to bring order to that very chaos. It is an outright battle for survival. We rolled again. Your actions and decisiveness bring some measure of order to the chaos. The brunt of the losses have already borne themselves out, with you successfully minimizing them to the best of your ability. Minutes later, when the shaking, swelling, and catastrophic upheaval have finally abated, you cast your gaze over the lay of the land, taking in your losses. A low chorus of elated chatter arises. You do not react, not yet, not on such treacherous terrain. You draw a deep breath and feel the sulfuric air fill your lungs. Anticipatory glances cast in your direction. They come from your co-mates, and you can tell they seek confirmation that it is over, but you cannot assuage their doubts. You do not make any eye contact. You do not dare. There is a feeling within you. Is it intuition? That gives credence to the notion that it is not yet time to celebrate. And then an aftershock sunders the ground anew, and ripples of destruction engulf your surroundings. The third round of the catastrophe is of little concern to you somehow. You evade it unhindered. When all is said and done, you corral the remaining crew and cargo into action in safety. Like a prophet who brings a miracle of the gods at the most opportune moment, the crew praises you, paying special attention to your leadership that you exemplify and the quality of trust that they place in you. Naturally, you do as a leader must do, reacting little to the praise and focusing on getting the comitatus moving. The hazard is at its end, yet out here in the mountains of fire, one can seldom be sure another is not around the corner. It is with these thoughts and others that you bid the crew to make haste and depart forthwith. I wonder how many people that we've lost in the ensuing chaos. No one, apparently, despite what the game told me. Thank God. Alright, I'm gonna do a tiny bit of force marching here, just to get us out of there. Maybe it doesn't matter, maybe it does matter. Good job. Now everybody's healing up. Yes, I understand we're at the edge of the molten plains. We were just in there, of all things. All right, let's see if my intuition is correct in that the Sadirar people might have water people. The other thing is I might skip HR here and go directly to Vitrar, where the water tribe exists. I also wonder if like the last oasis would be a good place to go. Maybe. Let's check the village. Talk to the travelers. Ask the stewards. No. How about the upper village? The spirit hall. Oh! This is another thing that I really considered trying to find. Because when you fight the fire elementals in Quathos, most of your people can't harm them unless they have magical weapons. If you're struggling with the fights in Quathos, I would highly recommend popping over to Sadirar, getting the Blessing of Unbinding. If you can get to the upper village, that's not a guarantee for most people, but if you can come up here and get the Blessing of Unbinding, that'll make all of your people able to attack the fire elementals, and I think that will make a big difference, because the most HP that I lost in all of my runs in Quathos was the fight with the fire elementals, because they have an AoE flame attack that does damage over time. So that's a huge one. So if you can get Blessing of Unbinding and kill those guys really fast, I think that would make the biggest difference. Sadirar people, Sacred Mountain. I already talked to them about what I saw at the end of the path. Let's just get the Blessing of Spirits. We might as well. All right. Doesn't sound like any of these people are particularly interested in what we're dealing with. I have bogweed. Where the heck did that even come from? Here, you guys take that. Where did I get that from? Where did you guys find weed? Maybe we found it in Quathos somewhere. But you know, when we took the dwarves stuff, I bet the dwarves had bogweed. That seems like a thing dwarves would have, is pipe tobacco, but like illegal pipe tobacco. All right, we have 12 days worth of supplies. I'm kind of thinking let's just grab all the supplies they have. This is a crazy thing to do, because now we have a month's worth of supplies. But let's just run to the Writhing Oasis. You know, while we're down here, I might as well swing by HR, the last Oasis. You know what? I'll go to all of them just to see if somebody's around. I'm gonna pause the episode right here, and I'm gonna do the stop bys with all the tribes. If nothing happens, you will come back with me at Avernum. If anything happens, you will see in a couple seconds here. So don't go anywhere. Be right back. Hello everybody, and we're back. So, just to catch you up to speed, I went and visited every place over here that even made sense to visit. The Sadirar, HR, I went to Fort Refugus, the last Oasis, Kochar, Vichar, Utvarar, and back up to Avernum. Nobody at any of those places wanted to come with me to go visit the water shamans. So, I was just making my way over to Larnak and back to Torzeg Shelter to go to the crossroads and head back over. But when I was just poking around in Larnak, there's this option here to visit Murno, the Crystalmancer. You can show him the fiery crystal that we found in Barandar's possession. So we're going to do that. The Crystalmancer raises an eyebrow as he examines the flame-hued formation. "This is odd," he murmurs. "Very odd." He opens his mind, examining the crystal with its certainly acute magical senses. "Well, how about that?" he asks no one in particular when he's finally done and sits down. "You have a rarity on your hands. Did you know that? You explained to Murno that you found the crystal by a dead explorer deep inside the long-lost Quathos. The Crystalmancer gasps and presses you for every detail. Once you indulge him, he nods several times. "A curious force is awakened inside this cluster," he begins his explanation. "But it has been a very special little growth even before that. This power inside it, this magic, well, it's akin to proper crystalmancy, like an enchantment or an embedded arcane formula, a spell, except its resonance is more similar to that of a life force. It's not quite a soul, no, but it's close. Almost like an approximation, like, I don't know, like magical energies mimicking a soul? Or, well, in this case, several souls. In any case, this phenomenon lends the crystal uncanny power, especially over heat and fire. If only you had a Crystalmancer to tap into it." You clear your throat, and Murno raises an eyebrow, and then it dawns on him, and he laughs heartily, then shakes his head. "No, not this one, no," he says, waving his hands. "Not my field, I'd botch it. Listen, I'm going to do you a favor here. I'm not even asking for my regular fee for identification. This was too interesting, but I digress. You should take this to someone else, a Crystalmancer more skilled in these sort of enchantments. Should we take it to Shibeni in Lumen? That's my hunch here, is and honestly, I think she's the only other Crystalmancer I know of. Can you make me a magical lantern? I need 15 crystal lamps. How many crystal lamps do I have? Don't I already have magical lanterns? Maybe that's something new. Well, thanks, Murno. Leave the Lucernum. Might as well explore the city while we're here. Nothing happened. Do you have something did I order something? Apparently I did. Let's order a book. About the Searing Plains, of course. Have we already purchased all the rare books, apparently? I'll sell you a bunch of arcane texts because I have way too many, apparently. Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna pause again, and I'm gonna bring you back when we pop over to Lumen here, and I'm gonna see if Shibeni has something to give us. I'm also gonna go the way of the Mirage Crystal to Lumen, on the off chance that there's some mages that want to come with me. So once again, time skip. See you in a second. We have returned. We're in Lumen this time, and now we're gonna go talk to Shibeni about the flame-hued crystal. You can make magical lanterns too? This must be something they added to the game when I wasn't paying attention. Do you have crystal like I need 15. I don't know how many I have on hand. Do you have crystal lamps? I own 10. Right, now I own 11. I can get one every 2 days. So the goal will be to get 15 lanterns so I can make a magical lamp out of the lamps that I own. Anyway, back to the flame-hued crystal. Shebeni becomes visibly excited when you present her with the fiery crystal. She sits down next to it and stares at it intently for several minutes, sometimes laughing out loud and startling you. You are certain that she is using her magical senses to examine the artifact, but you are unsure where her amusement is coming from. At length, she blinks several times in quick succession and turns her attention to you. This Vagrus is a true rarity, she explains. You've happened upon a very special formation. Care to tell me everything you know about it? You comply, informing Shebeni about Quathos, its supposed place of origin, and mention how a dwarf explorer perished with the item in his possession. Shebeni smiles knowingly. Exquisite indeed, she says softly, glancing at the crystal and then back at you. What at first appears to be a very well-woven enchantment embedded into this formation is some sort of anomalous arcane energy now trapped inside. It behaves like a soul fragment, someone's memories and essence, but it isn't that. Very similar, but not exactly the same. In my professional opinion, it comes from some sort of energy that mimics souls. In this case, it has created a simulacrum of the perished dwarf's soul. Before you turn up your nose, please, these do not contain memories, nor are they the true life force of those who died an unfortunate death on that fiery island. However, the energies in the crystal have unwittingly created a unique relic, one that you may harness to your advantage. You ask Shebeni how the flame-hued formation might be used. It might be enchanted further to become part of a shielding crystal tool, she elucidates. I can modify one for use, replacing the original crystal in it with this one. It'd significantly empower the artifact. Of course, you'll need to pay a fee, but it can be done by morning. For 300 silver, this is a very generous offer, Vagrus, and I'm giving it because the task promises to be an interesting one. Do we have a deal? Oh, we can make our heat shielding crystal even better? I was just using that to walk through the crystal forest. Yeah, hand over your heat shielding crystal artifact, her fee, and retire for the day. That's a lot of money. Shebeni wastes no time on idle conversation. Instead, she dismisses you from her workshop and gets to work right away. You leave and head back to the Manzio, where you join your crew for some drinks, a meal, and conversation, impatiently awaiting the Crystal Mancer's success on the morrow. You go to bed early. Sleep takes you after a while. Cool. We have some spare movement, so we might as well put our people to work. What'd you guys do? They won't tell me. The crew wakes you early in the morning on your request, and you head out across town right away, reaching Shebeni's workshop, only to find the Crystal Mancer hunched over her table. Her appearance is ghastly. You suspect that staying up and casting enchantments all night has taken its toll. She stirs, looks up, and forces a smile. Good morning, Vagrus, she chirps. It appears that you are now the lucky owner of a unique flame shield crystal. I must say that I outdid myself with this one. She pulls a piece of cloth off the crystal relic, and you admire it in all its fiery glory. The crystal is very much the same, though, the light in it seeming stronger, and a magical symbol adorns its largest stalk. You still need a spellweaver to maintain the shield, but the effort is less taxing, as the crystal itself does most of the heavy lifting now, channeling the anomalous energies to protect everyone around it. I'm sure you'll find it most useful in your travels, especially if you're returning to places like Quathos. She shakes her head. I must say, you are one genuinely courageous individual. I commend you. The Crystal Mancer bows her head and hands you the flame shield artifact. You can feel the warm energies inside, swirling and pulsating. Unfortunately, this business is concluded, Shebeni declares, but perhaps there's something else I can assist you with today. I think that's everything. Show her the crystal again? Nah, you can't do it twice. Okay, so we have to think about maintaining the crystals that we have on hand, but let's take a look. What do we get now? Ooh, it's orange. Oh, that's so cool. So it reduces consumption just across the board. I assume it still protects us from the Calaris. Yeah, you need to equip Calaris protection to survive in a Calaris. But now so normally when you have the white crystal active, it gives you -2 movement. This one's only -1. I feel like I should have had this equipped even before I enchanted it while we were wandering around in Varnarud. That's my bad. That I didn't do that. Oh, that's so cool. -20% consumption. Somebody should do the math and tell me if this is just worth having on at all times. Because then you would just move at -11, or you'd move at 11. Yeah, it changes the amount of supplies we have available significantly. So that's kind of interesting. Versus the Yurg crystal. Outrider combat strength. I feel like the Scepter of Armoros might even be better than that. Just like the odds of us getting into combat are not that high. I would put this on if I knew I was going into a battle, but still. Once again, there's nobody here that wants to come with me. I'm kind of trying to rack my brain to think, like, where are people that might want to come be water people? The well folk? Like, maybe Devon? I should have asked people when we were in Devon and went over to Avernum, which you guys never saw. I did that off camera. But I didn't think about it. Maybe let's go to Torzag Shelters, see if we can't find some people. And if we can't, I might go do some exploration on my own, and then I'll bring you guys back in the next episode with wherever those people may be. But we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just go back to Avernum and push the quest line along a little further before we do that too. Who knows? They might actually be over in the Bronze Desert, now that I think about it. That's very possible. Is like you go up north and there's people there that want to give up living in a desert to live in a lava land? Possibly? Oh, who is it? Oh, it's just a Legionnaire camp. You guys don't need to tell me about that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna wave at them as I pass by. Alright, turn in our trading goods. And then let's see here. Whoo! Temple District? No. No. You got any prisoners? My thoughts were like, if you had people that were in jail, and I'm like, can I buy these people out of jail and on the promise that I take them over to Varnarud and they never come back? That was my thought process there. That didn't quite pan out. Walk around the lakes? Pleasure house? No. Alchemist? No. The bathhouse? That's where the Loaders Guild is. Hot wares, borrow money? I'm at a loss, y'all. Can't be the gardens. That doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't be maybe the gangs? Sell something to the gangs? Dragon's Nest Inn? A library? That doesn't make any sense either. We should visit Drius's compound to make Gorgoro happier. Oh, we found it! Try to find some slaves who could be trained to become well diggers in faraway scrap heap. We did it. You spend the better part of an hour scouring the slave markets for potential trainees for well diggers. The criteria are clear due to the explanation of the Wayward Order. Apprentices should not be old, be in fairly good physical condition, possess sufficient intellect, and be willing to live and learn in the old warehouses in Scrap Heap. In return for the initial months, they can decide to stay or leave and become liberated. There are many who would jump at the opportunity, but not many who qualify, so it takes some time to gather a score of potential trainees. Regrettably, not only are these slaves of better quality, but the slave traders sniff out your intentions and raise the price further. You will have to pay a small fortune to get them. That is not a small fortune, at least not for me. You fork over the silver and receive your slaves. They seem excited at the prospect of freedom, even if it entails traveling across the realms and spending time in service of who they believe are glorified gardeners. Honestly, if I was a slave, I would jump at the chance to be a gardener. Only time will tell if they will remain and become well diggers, but that is not something you need to worry about. back to the Manzio. That's perfect. I'm glad we found that, because our astrolabe is back up and running again. So if that's the case, why don't we just buy all of the food here? We'll bring it with us. We leave most of it behind when we get into the arcane gate, but let's take stock of who we have with us right now. Oh damn, we also have Uthar's crew, which is rough. We have 12 people that we need to take through the gate. So we have 16 passengers, we have 11 companions, so that puts us at 27. That means we can only take 13 laborers slash fighters through the gate with us. It's gonna be a bit of a slog to get through the gate and back to Scrap Heap, but I think I'm gonna do that off camera. I don't think anything particularly interesting is going to happen while we're transporting people. If it does, I will bring you back, but otherwise, you guys, you failed me. I will bring you guys back when we get to Scrap Heap. So, if you guys enjoyed the episode, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more episodes of Vagrus The Riven Realms or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have your notifications on so you know when the next videos go live. But until next time, everybody, I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!